Hello everyone, it's Michelle Lupton here, and I am going to show you in this video how I made this card using products from the July release at Picket Fence Studios. Now, just a word of warning, shaker cards are not my thing. I'm just putting it out there in advance. I don't often make shaker cards, so this one took me much longer than it should have. Anyway, I'm just going to show you some of the sequins. I'm not going to use this particular set. That one was called Oh Christmas Tree. Then this one I'm going to use. This is called the Icicles mix of sequins. And this one is called The Penguins Come to Christmas. So you can see that these mixes have a mixture of really high quality sequins, and not just one type of sequins, different colours, different shapes, different sizes, and also they have little bits of clay in the mix. So the Icicles mix, for example, has little snowflakes, and the Penguins mix, oh my God, those penguins are the cutest things ever. I'm in love with them, even though I didn't actually use the penguins in today's card. So I'm starting off with this stamp set, which is called A Happy Winter to You, and it comes with coordinating dies, which of course I used. And I'm starting off with some black hybrid ink from Picket Fence, and I'm just going to stamp these images because I'm going to do some really quick Copic colouring with them. Now, for a lot of people watching this, you might be thinking, she's wearing a sweater. I'm in Australia, so it's actually winter right now. So making this card is quite appropriate for me right now. So it is quite chilly here in Australia at the moment. Anyway, I've stamped out my images. Now I'm just going to run this through my die cutting machine and pop all these images out. I only actually used 3 of them, but I wasn't quite sure which ones I was going to use before I started. So I just thought I'd stamp them all out and yeah, just see what I did. So I've got this panel for the front, which I've cut the pond shape out of. I'm just using the shape I cut out of the middle as a template to just draw around. This is just to give me a guide of where to do my ink blending, because I want the space behind that pond on the card to be blue. So I've got 3 different colours of Distress Oxide ink. I've got the palest one is a Salvage Patina, then I've got Mermaid Lagoon, and then the darkest one is Blueprint Sketch. So I'm using my life-changing blender brushes here just to add some colour. I'm not really that concerned with getting a beautiful smooth blend, honestly. I'm just getting some colour down because I'm going to be adding some stuff over the top of this. Not only are the stamped images going to go on top of most of this, but I'm also going to create a shaker element over it. So there's going to be lots of sequins and little clay pieces. I'm also going to basically splatter with some paper glitz. So earlier on in the month, one of our 7 in 7 live videos actually showed how I created this bottle of just basically water with paper glitz sparkle in it. I'm not using it as a spray, I'm just splattering it onto that panel. And of course, before I did that, I made sure I mixed up the paper glitz. You need to make sure you do that. It's got really, really high quality mica in the paper glitz, but it does settle to the bottom. So these paper glitz is not just the paper glitz sparkle, but all the different colours are made by Picket Fence in Louisiana, in their lab, and they use really high artist quality grade ingredients. It is all non-toxic, and it just gives the most amazing shine. This paper glitz sparkle would have to be my favourite out of all of them. All right, so I just used an ink blending sponge tool to just add some of that paper glitz to the edge of the pond to make it look like it was ice. All right, so now I'm going to just wipe down my work surface, and I'm going to get out my little images, and I'm going to start colouring. Now, I'm not going to show you heaps of the colouring here. I'm just going to colour them really quickly. I didn't spend a heap of time on the colouring. Right now I just decided to change. I started with cool greys and I decided to use warm greys. I don't know if anybody else does this. I think I must have learned it from somebody, that if you're colouring in something that's an animal, use warm greys, and if you're colouring in something that is inanimate, use cool greys. So because this is a little animal, I use the warm greys. All right, so I decided to go with these 3 little images and place them on my little ice skating pond. And now I'm just creating a little panel for my sentiment. I just used some of the Mermaid Lagoon and Blueprint Sketch and ink blended over that, and then just stamped in black ink. And I'm just going to cut that down to make a little banner, and that's going to sit on the side there. So I could have left the card like this. That is a perfectly nice card. And it's got a little bit of sparkle on the pond, but of course I wanted to make a shaker card. Why I wanted to make a shaker card, I don't know, because I'm not good at making shaker cards. But I'm using a little trick that I saw. I can't remember who it was that I saw did this, using a little pocket. This is a plastic pocket that I usually store my completed cards in, and I just cut it down to make a shaker pocket. Now, I decided that in this shaker mix I wanted some silver sequins and some more white sequins. Now, this little penguin mix has silver and white, but it also has all the red bits and the penguins. So, yes, crazy me, I actually sorted them out by hand. I know, I'm a nutcase. But the things you do. Anyway, I tried actually closing up this shaker pocket with some liquid glue, changed my mind. So now I'm just going to close it up with some of this red tape. And I folded it over because I thought, if I just put it in the middle of the 2 pieces, might get all the sequins sticking to it. So I folded it over instead, which of course made it a little bit fiddly to get the red tape in the right place. But hey, we got there eventually. It's all good. And that's the thing with the shaker card. It doesn't matter what it looks like from the inside because nobody's going to see it except for the fact that I'm making a video of this. So everybody's going to see how messy the inside of my card is. Oh well. Can't do anything about that now. Oops. Anyway, I used some of the red tape to stick around the edge of the pond. And then I'm going to stick down my shaker pocket. I decided to fold over some of the corners of this pocket just to prevent the sequins from going up into those corners. Because I wanted most of the sequins and shaker elements to stay within view. So I just used a bit more of this red tape to do that. Made sure I didn't fold it over enough that it would be visible from the front. And then, of course, my shaker pocket was quite thick. So I only added foam tape around the edges where the pocket actually wasn't. And that was perfectly fine. I didn't need it all the way around. Luckily, I actually had foam tape in 2 widths that were actually the same thickness. So that was good. I could use the thin one around the edges where there was not as much space. All right, so I'm lining this up and yeah, that's all good. So all that's left to do now is to adhere my little skaters, my ice skaters, to the pond and to adhere my sentiment. And I just did that with some liquid glue. And that's pretty much it for this card. Now, it took a whole lot longer than this video to make this card, but that's just because I'm not an expert at making shaker cards. So there you go. It turned out all right in the end. So I hope you liked seeing how I used these gorgeous sequins from Picket Fence, and I hope it inspires you to make your own shaker card. Bye.